BLUELOCK chapter 332 has just released. Hugo has stolen possession as we get a bunch of matchups between BLUELOCK and the France players. Especially between Hugo and Isagi as things ramp up in the France game and Hugo explains his philosophy on football. And all I can say is this is a bad look, y'all. France is really turning up, especially Hugo, who even had a few choice words about Isagi. The France game has been giving us peak after peak, so let's not waste any more time and jump into it quick. The chapter continues right where we left off. Hugo has stolen the ball away from Isagi, and this is the craziest panel to start the chapter. Isagi doing a full 180 looking at Hugo leave. He repeats himself from last time, asking Isagi if he believes in destiny, and that he'll educate him. Destiny is not a fantasy, nor is it spiritual. We then instantly see Hugo hit another dark particle accelerator pass straight through Itoshi Rin and says that destiny has logic. And yeah, at this point, we just know a Hugo yap session about his football philosophy is incoming. The commentators start shouting, "There goes Hugo," straight to the front line, a counter pass. And bro, Natsuki's face is literally how we are all feeling watching Hugo. This man has had like 3 chapters of screen time, outplayed both our number ones, and Isagi 3 times separately now. This is about the only reaction you can have. Bats starts covering Karasu, who is unable to get the ball, which is actually crazy. The France NPCs are actually doing something. Bro was even skedaddling in the last chapter too. And this got Karasu stressing. He starts to realize that the ball is a straight pass to Loki, and oh no, bro. We cannot let Loki get the ball, gang. Keep in mind, bro hasn't even touched the ball yet 2 chapters in. So we've been losing a damn near without his help. If he gets the ball, it might just be wraps, bro. As all hope seems lost and it heads towards him, we see a mysterious foot in the corner, and none other than Nico has intercepted the ball. Nico, you madman, you did it. You saved the Soul Society, coming in clutch when we needed it the most. Round of applause for you, my man. He says right here, Mr. Prodigy, and we see his Metavision eyes activate. As he says, when Isagi gets the ball stolen, the most dangerous spot is right here. This even got Loki stunned, as he just says, "Oops," and Isagi screams out saying a nice Nico, with Hugo scoffing and saying a not bad. But we can't rest now, because Nico clears the ball away and starts inner monologuing about a plan B, saying that if Isagi's shot is blocked and countered, BLUELOCK will change its attacking patterns. If our calculated team blueprint is being read, then use unpredictable individual skills as a poison stinger. I know I've been glazing, but I gotta give props when props are due. Nico been using that big brain of his, and it's paying off tremendously. As he says, punch a hole through them, Mr. Hornet, as we see Batra dribble past another player. The monster has returned, y'all. But all of a sudden, a new NPC appears, jumping into frame like a wild Pokemon. His name is Camus, and he calls out that here he comes, number 8, squaring up for the one-on-one. And wasting no time, we get straight into the action. Batra dribbles trying to weave him, but Camus actually manages to catch up and, even more surprisingly, stop Batra from moving with his hand. I am in genuine shock because the France NPCs are actually competent. If this was the NEL, Batra would already be at the goal box, I'm not gonna lie. Batra sticks out his hand too, trying to create some space, and says that he's changing his steps to match his dribbling tempo to keep up with him. He realizes quickly that Camus is definitely a man marked specifically for him, as Batra tries to zip away again, but Camus caught up. Bro all but confirms this as well, saying that he's been preparing for this, which ticks Batra as he shows an annoyed smile and has to go with a plan B as well. But we see a dark shadow running in the background as Batra switches it to Chigiri Hyoma. And honestly, when was the last time we saw Batra and Chigiri have a pass to each other, yet alone a chemical reaction? So it's nice to see it here, and the game plan now is to use Chigiri's speed as a breakthrough. But we see someone is right next to Chigiri on his tail saying, is that so? What the hell is even going on right now? Bro just spawned in right next to him. And as he tries to speed off, this guy named Layden catches up to Chigiri instantly. Nah, first Batra, now Chigiri? And this ain't even Loki, the actual speedster. This is another France NPC, and he's keeping up with your speed. Y'all, we are witnessing history right now. The NPCs aren't actual bums. What kind of tomfoolery is this guy even pulling? If he's doing Chigiri dirty, then who is our answer to Julian Loki? And we've seen Chigiri do numbers too, so it speaks more volumes that this guy is able to catch up. He even says that he won't let Chigiri get past, it's impossible. Which got Chigiri absolutely flabbergasted. When have we ever seen bro look like this? Not since the second selection, man. And I know a demon if I see one, because bro is just laughing and smiling right in front of his face. It can't get any worse than that. Layden just straight up says, mind if I accompany you too. We then jump to Isagi, who is also surprised, trying to analyze the situation. He says that he was able to react to Chigiri's solo breakthrough with speed and a man mark. He also realizes that Batra and the read of himself, everything of BLUELOCK that had a prepared backup plan, France is foreseeing one step further ahead through logic, as we see a whole security camera on every one of the BLUELOCKers. Yo, I have no words for this man, and Isagi is just frozen as well, thinking that everything they do is one step behind them. And that's when Hugo walks up to Isagi and puts his hand on his back. Nah, you don't even need to say anything. That action alone says more. He's straight up lil broing him in the middle of the game while he's trying to break it down. Hugo starts talking about how destiny is your aptitude. Physique, personality, talent, those basic capabilities are already decided the moment you are born into this world. Hugo continues that, in other words, all human beings by birth are not equal. And this even got Isagi speechless because we just see a bunch of dots for him. As Hugo continues to talk to Isagi, with his hand still on his back, by the way, saying that, but for each of these individuals, there is a suitable way to live. Chigiri is still struggling, Batra is still struggling, as Hugo says a horse can run fast and a bird can fly in the sky. Life should be lived in its natural state, and yet only humans are unnatural. Chasing wishes that won't come true only continue to give birth to useless conflict and despair, inflating an ego beyond one's abilities or station. Hugo then says, you see, when it comes to things you aren't good at, there's no way you can beat someone who is naturally gifted at them. He's not saying that you shouldn't dream, he's saying that you should dream a dream that fits your station. And just take a good look at Isagi, bro. This guy is hating every word that Hugo is saying, because it's yet another person in his life saying he's mid. The Hugo philosophy continues with him giving an example of, if you saw a lion trying to fly in the sky, anyone would think that he is an idiot. Low-key, anytime they mention a lion, I just instantly start to think of barou, so I swear this gotta be a reference to bro. Anyways, his analogy makes sense, and Hugo says that's why it's better to live more naturally. That's what it means to live out one's destiny correctly at a genetic level. If everyone lived out their aptitudes more as they truly are, it would become a world where everyone can happily and efficiently fulfill their lives, which explains his philosophy. Now let's ponder on this for a second. Hugo's mindset is honestly just rational psychology, and some of you may even agree with it. He's actually not even saying don't dream to Isagi, he's just saying he should double down on what he's good at. In other words, though, you can interpret it as basically calling Isagi not fit to be a striker, or that he's not good enough, which again, I know some of y'all Isagi haters would agree with that. But anyways, Hugo's philosophy is super interesting, but we'll talk about that more later, because the next page, Hugo just says it's the theory of aptitude or suitable destiny, while giving the most insane stare down of all time. Like, bro genuinely looks like a villain here. But in the opposite corner, our boy reactivates Metavision looking angry as hell, clapping back straight at Hugo. Yes, sir, we know Isagi ain't taking that disrespect, and we see it in the next page. Isagi says that he doesn't have the talent of a striker in terms of performance. Is he more suited to be a midfielder? He already knew that. He knew it so much that it hurts. And I guess Isagi saw all the midfielder agenda and he himself knows it too, which is hella funny to me because this has been here since the dawn of time. We see Isagi try to break away from Hugo and Chigiri hit a pass back, as Hugo then questions Isagi, not understanding why he lives in such a mismatch of aptitude. As we see our boy's puzzle pieces fly around, he shouts out that destiny moves egotistically. He's telling him to rewrite it because that's what he learned in Blue Lock. This is so peak because I'm not gonna lie, both sides you can actually resonate with, both Hugo and Isagi, and I think that's what really makes an interesting rivalry. As we see Isagi hit the ball away, someone says, yeah, leave it to me, and who else has that haircut? None other than Itoshi Rin has got the ball. My glorious goal. My favorite character in the series has got the ball. And he even dropped some straight fire talking about some I'm gonna destroy destiny itself. Let me not get ahead of myself though. I can't celebrate too early, folks, because one person jumps in front of him, Julian Loki. The actual final boss has appeared. Loki running in says that it's not something that changes so easily, as we see a matchup between Itoshi Rin and Julian Loki. Yo, this is absolutely crazy, man. But let's think about this realistically, y'all, because I love Itoshi Rin, but Julian Loki is like the peak of the U20, the closest to Noel Noah, so the chances are looking slim. If we want to win, Itoshi Rin gotta put up those PXG numbers, start summoning some voodoo in the middle of the field. Forget football, just pull the same shenanigans you were doing during that match. As Loki continues that it's hard to change because it's called destiny, Itoshi Rin says, like I care, as the chapter ends off on the inevitable face-off of the Destroyer and the God Sprinter. This France game is shaping up to be everything that I wanted from it, man. It keeps delivering week to week and giving us a whole bunch of information. We have Nico pulling off a crazy feat, the BLUELOCKers getting locked up and struggling, of course Hugo's philosophy in there too. Gotta give a standing ovation to Nico and even the NPCs for putting up a good fight. I'm glad they're not just making the same players over and over again to get highlight, but it's more realistic for multiple players and the NPCs to be doing good too. But the one thing I want to talk about right now is of course Hugo's philosophy and talk with Isagi. That was the main segment of this chapter, and right away I absolutely loved it because there is genuinely levels to it. And I'm gonna say it right here, I think Hugo is shaping up to be one of my favorite characters, and not because he's dunking on Isagi, but because of his philosophy and his writing. Now, like I said before, it really is just rational psychology. I've taken a college class on it before, and I've done some research on the side, but the path of least resistance is the one that you go farthest on. That's inherently the meaning of it, and I don't think Hugo is intentionally trying to be disrespectful to Isagi. He even says that he's not telling Isagi not to dream, and as someone who likes Isagi, I've seen Isagi haters already gang up on Hugo. Like, I get that he's backhand dissing him and not outright saying it or just being passive aggressive in general, but saying that Isagi should be a midfielder instead of a striker because he's more suited that way, I don't really think that's too disrespectful. He's just saying the harsh truth. He's just straight up telling Isagi that this is the most quote-unquote suitable way for you to live. The belief that caring about things you cannot change is irrational. And that's the point Hugo is trying to convey here. You can't be a lion and expect to fly, so caring about what you can't do is irrational, and you're just gonna cause more sadness for yourself. The reason why he thinks this way could be a projection of his own insecurities, because maybe he used to be like Isagi where he dreamed really high, but then he developed this whole mindset shutting away his ego because of an exterior motive, such as witnessing a genetic and natural talent like Loki, which I do understand is kind of a mirror to Itoshi Sai. Honestly, the more we see his personality, it could be that some of these new gens just got their egos crushed. In general, I think there is some relatability to what Hugo is saying, which is why I think Hugo is a character that will resonate with a lot of different people. People will believe in him that Isagi is more fit to be a midfielder. And like I said earlier, you can just interpret what Hugo is saying as the harsh harsh truth for Isagi. But Isagi's character, as we all know, is about pulling off the unexpected. The underdog run, rewriting destiny, and making something that on paper is impossible actually possible. That's what Isagi's character is all about. And that's why we love Isagi so much, because he always adapts even if it's impossible. So I'm super excited to see how Isagi adapts and counteracts this time. How's he gonna disprove Hugo's philosophy? What philosophy is he gonna learn? And really quickly, next chapter title 333 is called A Natural Genius, which of course is gonna be talking about Rin and Loki as we head into their matchups. I feel like for the next couple of chapters, and maybe just seeing a Loki get the ball, it will really prove Hugo's point that there are gonna be people that are just genetically better than you. And Isagi is gonna see that in real time on the pitch, changing his thinking of genius and talented learners who he originally thought were on the same level. So I'm super excited to see how that develops and what's to come in the next chapter. But for now, that about wraps it up for this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching as always. YouTube really thinks you like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out too. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.